Hello my crafty friends, it's Andrea from Prairie Sky Paper Crafts, your independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Manitoba. Today we are doing a Scrappy card. I have a few strips of the Pansy Petals Designer Series paper here that I am going to be creating with. I've got a strip that's about an inch, about 1/4 of an inch, and then this one's about 1/2 inch. I've got some Whisper White, some So Saffron, and I'm going to be using the Flowering Rain Boots stamp. So yeah, let's see where we get to. I'm also going to be using some of the clear from the Silver and Clear Epoxy Shapes gems. So I'm just going to set those off to the side, and we're going to get, excuse me, we're going to get started with our Scrappy card. Now the vision that I have for this is that we're going to create on the diagonal. Now for the smaller strip, I'm actually going to wrap it around the card so that we get those nice crisp clean edges, because my tape is also just a little bit wider than what our cardstock is. So we are going to start with the thin strip. And I'm not going straight to the top, and I will be alternating floral with some of the gingham check. I'm just going to fold that one over, get it nice and tight, and fold that over. Give it a good push. Whoops. Grab some scissors and snip. And then we're just going to work our way down the card. Now, if you wanted to, you could absolutely wrap it on both sides of the card. Actually, okay, well, we're going to call that one done. Just got it not quite where I wanted it on the edge, but it's fine. Now I'm just going to cut this freehand with my scissors, but then I can go back and trim it again with my paper trimmer. Yeah, I think I'm going to do it that way. So for my wider strip, I'm going to use 2 strips on either side. And then I want to get my corner piece on the corner of the card. And then I'm not really doing this precisely. I'm just kind of eyeballing it. And then if there's something that I don't absolutely love, I am going to go back and fix it up later. That's one of the good things with paper crafts, is there's really no right or wrong, and any mistakes can be fixed. But so far, I have to say, this is pretty much coming out pretty much as I had envisioned. Sorry for the weird shadows. It's a cloudy day here today. Okay. So far so good. I'm really kind of liking how this is going. I'm going to do, we're having a hard hand day today. I think I'm going to do another thin strip here, and then I think we're going to get to doing our rain boots. Yeah, we'll do one more here. A little bit of adhesive. Line it up roughly. There we go. And then little tiny tag right there. And then you can go back later with either some glue dots and adhere it down. I kind of like it the way that it is looking right now with that little bit of movement. And then we're just going to trim off the end so that it doesn't. There we go. We're just going to trim off this little tiny flag that's poking out here. And we'll do one last strip across the bottom, and then we're going to go ahead and do our boots. This is a great project for using up some of those scraps that we all seem to accumulate. And no matter how diligent we are with trying to use every last bit, there are just some paper packs that they seem never ending. For me right now, the In Good Taste paper pack is one. It's a huge paper pack, which I love, and I love all of the textures to it, but it doesn't matter how much I use it, it just seems to always be there. All right, I'm going to grab this. I'm going to grab my card base. I'm going to stick this guy on there just because I've got some adhesive that's going to stay stuck to my paper, and I'd rather it stay stuck to my card. All right, there we go. And then we're going to stamp our boots. Now, this is the first time I'm using this stamp set. I absolutely love it. It's clear, so you can see exactly where you're putting it, which is super helpful if you're doing masking or another technique. And the color that I'm stamping it in is the Highland Heather. I'm just going to grab a block here. Now, because this is the first time, I'm going to grab a piece of scrap and stamp on that first, because sometimes there's a little bit of residue or something that can be left over from the manufacturing process. And I want to make sure that this is going to give us a good impression. Perfect. Ooh, that's pretty. All right. Get it good and inked up, and I'm just going to go over it with some Wink of Stella. Gonna do it there. Looks good, I think. Now, there are coordinating dies with this. I think I'm just going to use as a stamp today. I'm not going to bother with the dies. Just use my simple chamois to give my stamp clean. It doesn't look spectacular, but all you need to do is give it a rinse. The ink doesn't transfer onto your stamp, and it's cleaned within seconds. All right, so we're done with that. I'm going to grab our Wink of Stella. Now, I always store mine brush side down so that the brush never dries out. If you're not getting as much of the liquid out as you want, you can give it just a little squeeze here where it says push, and you'll be good to go. Now, this is it's not gonna run the ink a ton, but it is gonna give it just a pretty little bit of shimmer and shine. And you can see the purple is starting to flow a little bit. Well, the sun's not shining today, so it's hard to see the shine on this. When you run out of your Wink of Stella, you can actually go ahead and fill the barrel. All you have to do is untwist, pop this out, and fill it up with water, and then you'll have a glittery watercolor brush or paintbrush. Water brush is the word I'm looking for. Oh my goodness. It's Monday, what can I say? I think I want to build up the color just a little. Oops, too far. So all I'm going to do, I've already got a little bit of the purple picked up here. So all I'm going to do is pick it up a little bit on my brush, and then I'll be able to flow a little bit more color. Just kind of give it a little bit more of a highlight where I want it to be. A little bit more at the base here. You can also do this with your watercolor brush. Fine tips are better for the finer detail, obviously. You can also do it with your marker if you wanted to. All right, there we go. Just a little bit deeper color in a few spots. And then, as with everything, when you're applying color, you want to give it a brush off to the side just to make sure that it's not going to, oops, kind of plopped off a little too much there. That's all right. There. Just a bit more shine. I don't know, sun's not shining today. I need some shine somewhere. There we go. Now this will dry. Actually, it's already starting to dry, so not a big deal. Okay. Brush that off. Actually, I'm going to grab a piece of paper towel to place over that so that I don't get Wink of Stella everywhere. There we go. And then just blot. None came off. So we are good to go. Yeah, you know what? I think I am just going to leave that the way that it is. And rain or shine, I'm here for you is the sentiment that we're going to use today, I think. Rain or shine. And I think we're going to stay in the purple today. I don't always stamp my sentiment in the same shade that I am stamping. And again, just a tester. I love that font. No, I think we're going to do it up top. Just stamp straight down. Don't rock it, don't wiggle it, because if you do, you're probably going to end up with a halo, which, while it can be a cool effect, is not always the desired effect. Okay, and then I'm just going to trim it. Whoops. If you can see it in your gutter, you're going to cut it off. I cannot see this one. That was the scoring blade, which I don't need. I do need the cutting blade. So we're just going to cut. Put this off to the side. I'll use that scrap for something else later. And pop it up on some dimensionals. This pack of dimensionals is just about done with. So I am just going to use the edge. There's no point in throwing out the edge. It's exactly the same material as what the dimensionals are made out of. You might as well get as much from your packaging as you possibly can. I mean, dimensionals are an incredibly good buy anyway, just because of how many you get. But nobody's going to see this. So you might as well use it all. I'm probably going a little bit heavier than I normally do with dimensionals just because it is the end of the pack. I usually do one on each corner, the little hexagon, I think. 6 sides. 5 sides, 6 sides. Oh my gosh. Okay, and then we're just going to plop. Yep, that's the technical term, guys. And then I love these shapes. You've got circles, diamonds, and raindrops. We're using raindrops because it's boots, so why not? And I like odd numbers, so I think I'm probably going to do, I'll start with 3, see what that looks like. And you can actually color these too with your Stampin' Blends or alcohol markers. It works really, really well. 1, 2, 3. Maybe 5. There we go. Yeah, I like that. All right. So there's our Scrappy strip card. Again, you can do this with any scraps that you have laying around. And there's usually scraps from offcuts. So don't throw them all away. I usually keep, I think 1/4 inch is probably the smallest that I would keep, just because of smaller stuff like this guy is next to impossible to use. But you can always do paper weaving. You can do quilted cards. The possibilities are really endless. So I hope you enjoyed the card today. If you have any questions, pop them down below, or you can send me an email. All of my info is in the card down below as well. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you'll pop over to my VIP group where I do a live every single Wednesday. And have a good rest of your day. Stay warm, folks.